guys, it's John Mansell, ex-Booze Hound. Hope you're well. I've not done a vlog for a while, for various reasons, and I don't really know what I'm going to say. Well, there's so much going on up in here that this could be an absolute disaster. But let's start with the title. Let's try and start with the positive stuff. So the title is going to be something along the lines of my book gave back to me yesterday. When I talk about my book, I'm not going to say it over and over again because it's not exactly the catchiest title. It's called the A to Z Guide of Navigating Mental Illness, Addiction and Associated Issues. Shifted quite a few copies, and you know, I'm never going to retire on the money or whatever, but I'm proud of it, and I'm going through not the best of times at the moment. But yesterday I was sitting talking to a couple of blokes, and I think that's important. You know, the two men. And I found myself saying something that I wish in a way I hadn't said, but I've said it a few times recently. I think I'd said it to my mum earlier in the day, and you know, with living with a mental illness or mental health issues or poor mental well-being is a tough game at times, and if I'm honest, I'm angry with myself, sitting there feeling sorry for myself because of my mental illness, when I'm watching all the crap everybody else is going through out there, and you know, my life's so much easier than what some people are having to go through, and you know, you just feel angry that you're feeling sorry for yourself, or you're not being active when people are going through so much more. But I've said many times, you know, that my mental illness means that I have to address it, or address something every day, and I have to put effort in every day. And the book is a collection of things that I've done over the years that have helped me, and I know have helped other people. And again, I am proud of it. But the sentence I used yesterday when I was talking to these two guys is, you know, it's really hard sometimes. It feels like you just want to give in, because you know, I'm working really hard to keep bouncing back, which uses a lot of energy, trying all the different tricks and things that I've learnt over the years, and I'm working really hard to live a shitty life, live a crap life is the word I used. And I know that sounds like self-pity, and it is, you know. And the one guy said, you don't live a crap life, John. You've helped a lot of people. And I'm like, well, yeah, oh, thanks for that. Thanks for that. He says, no. He says, you've helped me. I still, when I'm in my bad places, I go upstairs and I read a bit of your book, and it always helps. And you know, you could see the meaning in his eyes, and that. And then the other guy I was sitting with says, yeah, I read it quite often as well. And it helped me, because one of the things that I'm struggling with is that this year has been a strange year, because it started off what at the time seemed quite positive, because I was working on 2 new projects that I'd come up with, but in the end it became quite a negative thing, because what basically happened is I spent the first at least 3 months of the year manic, and getting a bit more and more out of control. In that period, one of my friends died. One of the guys, John, who used to help with the ex-booze hound and Today Together stuff. There used to be sort of three of us. Kenny died about 4 or 5 years ago. John died in February, and yeah, so even though I was manic, you know, I was going through some difficult times there, and my behaviour became, I guess, irrational, or a little bit over the top, and it got to the point where a senior member of the local NHS trust contacted my psychiatrist and asked him to get in touch and bring my next appointment forward, which in itself is a little bit mind-blowing, but you know, that's what happened. From that, I ended up seeing somebody to assess me, a CPN. I can never remember what that is. Community psychiatric nurse. And a 25-minute meeting, and I think we ended up being in there an hour and a half. And this particular CPN said, "Yeah, look, we can. I definitely think, if you're up for it, I want to take you on as one of my service users, whatever you want to call us, clients." He said, even though I've got a full caseload, I'm going to ask for you to be one of mine. And from that, I've now seen my care coordinator a few times. He's good. We're trying to look at another level of medication, which will happen eventually. The system itself hasn't really been how it should be. It doesn't matter why. There's been some delays through just the way that the system is so busy. But you know, there's positives things to look at. You know, and if I look at other things that I've done this year, I did a conference for ADAS, Association of Directors of Adult Social Services, which covers the whole country. I did a conference for a consulting company called Empower, which was I think that was July. Last week I had a meeting with West Midlands ADAS, which is obviously West Midlands Association of Directors of Adult Social Services, and I also had a conversation with somebody at Dudley Integrated Health and Care. Now, when I was first introduced to the launch of Dudley Integrated Health and Care, I wasn't impressed at all, and I ain't going to bother going into why. But having this conversation with this person the other day made me realise that from what was said at the launch and some of the criticisms that I and other people had, they'd listened and they'd made changes. They'd created a different approach, and I contacted somebody I have a lot of time for, a guy called Matt Boucher, who is the Chief Executive of Dudley Adult Social Care, and I just wanted his opinion, and because I wanted to go into the meeting with Dudley Integrated Health and Care with an open mind, because there's no point me going in and say, well, I don't think you're very good, although I did say that. And Matt came back and said that yeah, he's doing some work with them, and something along the lines of he thinks that they will add a lot to Dudley. So I went in with a much more open frame of mind and had a good conversation. I'm very impressed with with what they've done or what they're trying to do, and I understand a bit more now about what it's all about and what stage it's at. And in theory, I should be doing some stuff with them over the next few months to try and give my take on things to help it be the best that it can be. So if you pick the bones out of that, there's a lot of good stuff happening, and I can be proud of still being involved in what I can be involved in, and I have to. It's very hard when you're struggling with the negative side of mental illness or bipolar or borderline personality disorder, whatever. I'm finding just the basics of life very, very difficult. But after I had that conversation yesterday with those two guys, when the one guy said, your book really helps me. When I'm in my bad places, I go and have a read, and then the other guy said, yeah, I do as well. That's two guys, that are sitting there saying that my book helps them. And if we go right back to the start on the first page of my blog, my website, it was, I said something along the lines, if I'm able to help one person, then it'll be worth it. And I have to keep reminding myself that over the years I've helped a lot of people. But when you're in the negative side, which I am, your demons don't say that to you. They tell you, basically you're working hard to live a crap life. You absolute waste of space. 49 years old, and you've got, materialistically nothing. I haven't got my own place. I haven't got my own independence. Getting by on benefits is not easy. It drags you down, and it makes you feel a waste of space. It makes you feel pointless, and it makes you feel, well, what is the point? And that's just reminded me of something, another message I had off somebody, and I shared it a while back, and it was said something along the lines of, since I've met you, I always know there's always a point to keep fighting back. And not only that, you've given me the tools to keep doing that. And I know that person reads my book on a regular basis, watches my vlogs on a regular basis, and I think gives me far too much credit. But again, it's another person that I've helped. She actually runs her own peer support group, so I guess on a knock-on effect, and I've been to that peer support group a number of times, and I've had an input in some of her, some of the people that go to that. So it's just so weird that you've got so many positive things that you can say about yourself, and I said to my care coordinator, no, I'm not suicidal, but I have gone to bed, fairly regular, thinking, I wouldn't be that bothered if I woke up dead. I know that's a ridiculous thing to say, but it just seems like, what's the point if it's going to be like this for another 30, 40 years? I don't think I can do it, and I don't know whether I want to do it. But then I know that's bollocks, because there's no way in a million years that I would ever let the demons beat me. Recently I know of one guy who unbelievable. Can you believe it? I saw him pulling up and I thought, you bastard. Recently there's been a guy who I know who I didn't know him very well, and for what I did know, obviously seemed like a nice, a good guy and whatever. And then a couple of Mondays ago, I was told that he'd taken his own life. And like everybody who knew him, is left devastated and confused as to why he would do such a thing. Like every sort of yardstick that people see as a positive, he got. He was working. Got a lot of work on. He was doing really well. And all that sort of stuff. Seemed to be jolly all the time and upbeat, and nobody expected it of him. And then he's gone and took his own life. And earlier on in the year, obviously John died. There was another person who I'd spoken to on a number of occasions with regard to their drinking issues and their other issues that they were using the drinking issues, the drinking to deal with. That I couldn't get through to them, and then they ended up dead, just through damage from what the booze had done to them. I don't know where I'm going with this now. I don't even know where I've started, where I've ended, or whatever. But from that conversation, from the book, I'm on my way to the gym in a bit. I haven't been for a couple of weeks because I did my back in, and prior to that, I hadn't been for a couple of weeks because I'd had a low, a really low period, and I got absolutely no energy whatsoever. And that's another great thing, positive thing that happened this year. I went down to Poole and met up with a mate and his wife, and spent a couple of days with them. Saw his mum, who I've been very, very close to over the years. We've known each other. She was my boss for many years, and almost a second mum, I suppose. And there is so much positive stuff. I'm still having a positive effect on people and organisations, I guess, around me, and it feels really difficult. It feels really weird saying this positive stuff, but I think perhaps I've had to go through saying the negative stuff and to do this vlog to hear myself say this stuff. And most of this wasn't planned. It's just come out, and I've said many times, one of the hashtags I use on social media is pick your battles. Sometimes it's not worth fighting back because you haven't got the energy or the capability of fighting for long enough to actually make a difference. So you have to pick your battles, and today, going to the gym in a bit is a starting point. Let's go and see whether the back can take a little bit of exercise, because again, the other problem with not being able to go to the gym is I'm not getting the benefit for my mental health, and I'm putting on weight again, and that just feels crap, and again it's you sort of end up, and I know I do it, I eat crap just to fill the day sometimes, anyway, that's just, so I'm eating more stuff that I shouldn't eat and all that sort of stuff. So not going to the gym and all that is affecting my mental well-being, and it's affecting my physical health as well, because I'm putting on weight, I'm struggling with my back and stuff like that. God knows what I've said. It is living with a mental illness or mental ill health or poor mental well-being is very, very hard at times, and I ain't saying it's not hard for most people. At the moment, things are hard for everyone, but it's the knock-on effect of everything that's been going on, and the negativity that's within me. It's dragging me down, and it's making life harder, and I'm getting less and less used to dealing with everyday life on a day-by-day basis. Things like I'm not talking to anybody at the moment. You know, I'll get texts and I'll get messages and I'll get phone calls, and I don't go back to them because I don't want to sit there talking bollocks about myself. You know, and I don't want them worrying about me. And you know, and I've got something really, really positive that's really great that's coming up in October, but I'm worrying about that because, you know, I haven't got anybody to go with me. And again, this is just so pathetic. It's, you know, it's so, oh, woe is me. You know, you can't just sit there and wait for life to come to you. You have to go and get it. But as I say, when I'm in that mind that I'm working really hard to live a crap life, it's really, really hard to think, well, what's the point in putting the effort in when you get nothing out of it anyway? You don't get any enjoyment out of life. You don't get anything from just fighting constantly. But as that message from that person said, since they met me, they always know there's always something to keep fighting for. And if I can inspire that in that person, I need to inspire that myself again. And I've gone on for a long time, and most of you probably won't get to the end bit. But there's a lot of negatives in there. There's a lot of positives in there. The real positive is that, you know, that conversation about my book helping them on a regular basis yesterday has allowed me to start thinking a little bit more positively again. And then, so with that, it means that I'm now just going to put that little bit of effort in and go to the gym, and then we'll see what happens from there. So this might be the start of a fight back that works. It might be the start of a fight back that doesn't work. But what it is a fight back. And it doesn't matter how difficult it gets, or how bad you feel, or how low you feel, or how despondent, how disconnected, how worthless you feel, you've always got to fight back. You've always got to find that strength to get back. And, you know, as I've said many times, and I've said it in my book many, many times, you know, if I can do these things, then you can too. But it ain't easy, and it's never going to be easy, you know, especially with what the whole world's going through at the moment. It just adds extra pressure for everybody, and there's going to be an awful lot more people who are going to be struggling with their mental well-being, and you know, with that, you have to dig deep sometimes and find some resilience and ask for help. You know, I didn't ask for help. Help was sort of thrust upon me because my behaviour was getting a bit erratic. But in doing that, it's helped me to start to try and understand myself a little bit more. Don't know what's happened after a sort of mini breakdown a couple of years ago, after the main breakdown, and then probably a mini breakdown March, April. It's left me feeling a little bit more broken, and again with that, it sort of, when you feel a bit more broken, you then think, oh God, every time I put in a real push and I really try and get things going, it comes back and bites me in the ass, and I've got to learn that. I've got to accept that. It's one of the things that I'm working on, trying to accept that. I can't be the ex-booze hound of 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18. I can't do that work again. I can't put that much effort into it again, because it drags me down. So, you know, I have to be a little bit more selective in what I do. But what I have got is in my mind that the selective stuff that I'm going to be doing moving forward is going to be with Dudley Adult Social Care. It's going to be with West Midlands ADAS. It's going to be with ADAS. It's hopefully going to be with Empower. It's going to be with Dudley Integrated Health and Care. And you know, rather than me concentrating on perhaps trying to help individuals, which I still do from time to time. I had somebody phone me the other day who was threatening to kill themselves, and I don't appreciate calls like that. But I went out and made a difference. I wasn't kind to them in any shape, way or form. I read them the right act in a way, and you know, that was perhaps not the right way to go about it, but everything seems okay. I don't know, look, this has gone on for far too long, and people ain't going to watch it. But anyway, doesn't matter how bad things get, how low, how despondent, how broken, how disjointed, how lost you get, there's always a reason to keep fighting, and I'm reminding you of that as well as I'm reminding me at the same time. Sorry I've gone on for so long, and I hope it helps some of you out there. I think in a way it's helped me, fingers crossed. So let's see how my fight back goes. Maybe I'll drop another vlog in a week or so's time, and let you know how it's going. As always, enjoy the good, ride out the bad, and I'll catch you all soon.